What are the minimum preps required to not die in SHTF? Hey everybody, it's Michael with Asymmetrical Preparedness. It's a good question, right? A lot of people ask that question. How much food should I have? How much water should I have? How many freedom seeds should I have? How many tools should I have? How many whatever should I have? Well, simple answer. It depends. It does, honestly. If anybody tells you you need this much, this much, this much, they're full of crap. There's no such thing as that, because we're all in different situations. We're all in different areas. I'm here in the Pacific Northwest. Somebody may be in North Dakota or Texas or Florida or Colorado or Idaho. It depends what your situation dictates. Do you have a lot of sources of water around you like I do here? Maybe you live in Minnesota and there's lakes all over the place. Like here, there's lakes all over the place here. Nothing like Minnesota maybe, but you know, it's all a different situation. So maybe you have sources of water to replenish really close, and a lot of it. So maybe you don't need to stockpile as much water. Maybe it rains a bunch, like it does here in Washington. It rains a lot. So rainwater collection. What are your options? Those are things you need to look at. Bare minimum. I'll throw out some bare minimums for you. But before I get into that, please subscribe. Hit that thumbs up or the thumbs down, whatever floats your boat. Comment below. Throw a comment in, please, to help others. The comment section is a great place for you guys to talk and to talk about what you have, what you think you should have, to learn and to see from other people, from different perspectives. I'm only one perspective. I only know what I know. I'm only in the situation that I'm in. Everybody's different, so learn from each other. And there's that super thanks, the little heart with a thanks in it. If you feel like helping out the channel at all, great. Donate to the channel. Awesome. I really, really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. It really helps me to be able to do these things, to create better content, etc. Okay, so let's throw out some bare minimums. In my mind, my situation, what I would suggest as a bare minimum, just my opinion. This isn't the gospel. I'm not God, obviously. Bare minimum preps. Looking at what's going on in the world around us. I mean, there's so much going on, right? What's the state of our economy? How much national debt do we have? And these are some things we need to look at and talk about and think about before we determine what our minimums are. And minimum standards are just that. If you shoot for minimum, then you're not going to excel in life. Just like in the military, all the different higher end schools I went to, minimum was not acceptable. It just isn't. You always got to strive for excellence. Anyway, yeah, shoot for perfection, accept excellence, and never accept failure. That's one thing, the way to look at it. Okay, so we have the potential, I think it's highly likely, probable, of increased violence on and or around surrounding the elections. We also have a fragile grid that may or may not be around in this harsh winter. So that's something to think about. There's also what Turkmenistan is attacking Turkmenistan and Armenia and Azerbaijan and China and Taiwan and Russia and Ukraine and Greece and Turkey and. Fires at food plants, food shortages, droughts. I mean, come on, people. If I really want to say how much you should prep, all of it. But here's what I think, moving forward, what my suggestion would be as your bare minimum. What should you shoot for? I would say at least 3 months of food. And the ability, like back here, behind me, to grow your own. It may just be seeds, because obviously, different where you are, depends on what you can grow, when you can grow it, how you can grow it, etc. I would say at least, bare minimum, a week, more like 2 weeks of water for your family. And a lot of people talk about a gallon per person per day. No, that doesn't cut it. That's not going to cut it, because that's just what you need to drink, not what you need to wash your clothes, not what you need to wash your body, not what you need to water the garden, not what you need to give your cats and dogs, not what you need to cook with. All those rice and beans that you have, and or dehydrated foods, freeze-dried foods, bulk dry goods, etc., take a lot of water. You need a lot more than a gallon per person per day. I would say 3 to 5 gallons per person per day. And if you have more than you need, if you have more than a week or more than 2 weeks or more than a month or more than a year of water, great. Whatever. Having extra is a good thing. Okay, a lot of people talk about seeds for this. How many seeds should I have? All of them. And then people are like, oh, well, if you have, thousands of rounds and all that stuff like that, you're not going to survive long enough to use them all. True. That is true. I wouldn't. But others might. What about your tribe members? What about when stuff starts collapsing, people that you will accept into your fold, into your group, onto your property, onto your bug out location, whatever, you can hand them spare defensive tools and seeds and seed holders and gear, and have them help you with security and or patrolling and or whatever other needs there are out there. So having extra, and also think about bartering. Who wouldn't barter for seeds, freedom seeds, in an SHTF scenario? I'm not going to barter with them because I'm not going to give any up. But if you have a whole bunch of extras, maybe. Anyway, I digress. You should have plenty of materials available to make expedient shelters, make improvised shelters, like tarps, like 550 cord. What else should you have? And never have one of anything. Have multiples. Tarps are cheap. Buy a bunch of tarps, a bunch of 550 cord, because you can use them for ground sheets. You can use them for walls. You can use them for a shelter over the roof. You could use them for lots of different things. So have lots of tarps. Sleeping bags, blankets, first aid. What about that? That's a lot more difficult to quantify. How much first aid stuff should you have? Because it's not just what how much of it you should have, but what kinds of things should you have based on your abilities and your skills. That's a big difference. Sorry. Somebody who's walking by had to stop and wait a minute. Put it that way. Okay, and I lost my train of thought. Medical. Okay. One thing you got to think of is when you're talking about medical, a lot of people concentrate on tourniquets. They concentrate on chest seals. They concentrate on all the things like IFAC type stuff, decompression needles, etc. Packing, wound packing, hemostatic gauze, stuff like that. But then they stop there. Why do you stop there? You have to, the aftercare, if you think you have enough gauze, you don't. I doubt there's anybody out there that's watching this video that has an adequate amount of gauze. And that's a simple thing right there. Gauze. How much gauze are you going to go through when you got to change out those dressings once a day, twice a day, for weeks on end? For multiple people, if you're in that situation. So gauze is important. The other stuff is just, you got to think about worst case scenario and figure out what all you need, what do you know how to use, and this applies to all things, not just medical. And then get more of it. Very important. Okay, what's another thing that preppers love talking about? They love talking about bugging out. I'm not even going to talk about what should go in your bug out bag, because that depends, right? Yes, it does. Bugging out should be your last resort. It's my last resort. Unless, caveat, you live in a city. If you live in a built-up urban area with lots of high population density, lots of people, I wouldn't be there now. I'd be getting out now. But one thing I hear all the time, oh, I don't need bug out locations because I'm at my bug out location. Well, then it's no longer your bug out location, right? It's your homestead, it's your house, it's your domicile, it's your whatever. But it's no longer your bug out location because you can't bug out to it. You're already there. So no matter what situation you are in, even if you have a extremely rural, huge acreage homestead that's completely self-reliant and awesome and defensible and all stuff like that, you never know. You still may have to bug out. So have those plans in place. You got to have bug out plans. One thing is very important for preppers also. Kind of like you do fire drills with your kids and different things. I hope you are. That's a thing that maybe people don't do anymore. I don't know. People don't do a lot of things anymore that is second nature to a lot of us. But anyway, have your SOPs, your standard operating procedures for your family, for your group, your tribe, your neighborhood, whatever the situation may dictate. Have them set up for what do we do when X happens? What do we do if X happens? What do we do, or how do we do what we're planning? All those questions need to be answered now. Everybody involved, whether it's your tribe, your whole neighborhood, just your family unit, everybody that's involved in the situation needs to know exactly what to do, when to do it, how to do it, all these things. And it needs to be trained on so that it's second nature. I don't know, there's a lot to this topic. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. But bare minimum, first off, I hope you're not looking at bare minimums because it's not acceptable. Ideally speaking, a year of food. But even that, so what if you have a year of food for your family unit? Then what happens if 4, 5, 6 more family units come in? And that year of food goes down to 2 months or a month. And if you don't have the ability to replenish it from gardening, growing your own food, raising your own animals, hunting, fishing, foraging, trapping, snaring, then you're going to run out eventually. And then all you did is extend your life by a couple months. The point is, the biggest point is to do your best, not to look at YouTube videos and, prepping videos as a form of entertainment. If you're watching it for a form of entertainment, okay, you do you. But I want you guys to take this seriously. I want you to get out there and actually do these things. Prepare yourselves. It's coming. Don't know what it is, but with everything on the horizon, everything going on currently and over the past couple of years, please don't think nothing's happening. Don't be a sheeple. Wake up, get ready, have a wonderful day, and blessings to you and yours.